All right, ladies, we're gonna have a little chat. I know that you want more out of your reading than what you're getting. I am there, I am with you. It's because 90% of the books that I've been recommended from TikTok have left me feeling so lacking. Let's talk about the history of BookTok and how it has grown in popularity and the types of books that have grown in popularity alongside of it. Then let's talk a little bit more about what it means to be more of an intentional reader and why it even matters. I took some notes. With the rise of BookTok, reading has skyrocketed among young people, which is a great thing. But I always wonder, have authors changed their writing style to fit the type of attention span that comes with that short form content? And did this rise in popularity with genres like romantasy and easily digestible books change what it means to be a reader? I definitely think it has. So I want to explore something that I like to call TV books. In my mind, there's a difference between books that are like reading, you actually have to sink your teeth into it, and books that are just basically the same as watching TV. They're so easy to consume. And we'll begin by throwing it back to high school. Imagine it is sophomore year again and you are given the dreaded reading assignment. It's a classic novel. It is boring, long, big enough to kill a man, and the person who wrote it is probably dead. But sometimes halfway through this road that you've been forced down, you look around and you realize the flowers are blooming in this beautiful analogous melody. The trees have opened up to a beautiful valley below the story, this mountain of narrative that you felt like you could never summit is all of a sudden beneath your feet. And oftentimes the conclusions leave you feeling like you've taken a view of life from 50 feet above, finishing with lines like, "It is a far, far better thing that I do. It is a far, far greater rest that I go to than I have ever known. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. And he loved Big Brother." Those lines, oh, they just give me chills. And I don't think I ever would have read those lines if someone didn't force me to do so. And outside of school, we get to choose what we read, which is amazing. It's great. And I think that sometimes people love reading even more when they get to choose what they read. But without discipline and accountability, it is a given that we're just gonna read what is easy and interesting and popular. So let's chat really quick about the history of BookTok and the genres that have been popularized by it, specifically romance and romantasy, which is somehow different from fantasy, subgenre romance. I don't even know. TikTok, the 15-second dopamine slot machine. Somehow a short form content platform popularized a very time-consuming hobby. These dedicated reading communities were growing and publishers took notice. Back in 2021, titles like It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover jumped back onto bestseller lists, even though it was published back in 2016, all because of TikTok buzz. These books often have intense, emotional, romantic backdrops, quick chapters, cliffhangers at the end of chapters. YA thrillers, a lot of memoirs are popular on BookTok as well. Sometimes the literary fiction will sneak its way in there. But what started as casual peer-to-peer recommendations has turned into something that forms and shapes young readers' tastes and also shapes what publishers will pick up. I'm pretty sure a lot of indie authors actually get official publishing because of the popularity their books gain on BookTok. And I want to be very clear that I do not think that it's a bad thing that TikTok is popularizing reading again or that it's something that is becoming trendy. I think that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But I also think that when taken in the context of something to just be consumed, it can be problematic. Because what are these books actually saying? Do any of them stay with us, change us like many classic novels do? I think they actually do. Like I said, any form of reading builds empathy, vocabulary, conversational skills, and critical thinking. But not all books are created equal. And just because something is easy to consume does not mean that it doesn't come with its own influence. I believe that every single story we consume leaves its trace. I can be really bad about this actually. After I finish a book or watch a movie, sometimes I feel like the characters and the emotions that I've just experienced stick with me for a long time. It can actually impact my real life. Everything we consume, whether it's a 2-hour film or a 30-second clip, has the power to shape our values, our thinking, and our emotions, even if it's a quick and silly 200-page read. And if we're not intentional about our media diet, we risk unconsciously taking in ideas that go against our values and morals. And that's not to say we shouldn't be challenged. I actually think we should. I just think we need to be intentional about what we are reading so that we can be challenged in a way that shapes us for good, rather than letting things in without being aware of what those messages are. So the next time you're choosing a book, look for something that's going to enrich your life, not just steal a couple hours from you. And this goes for classic literature too. Take the case that the author has built up and examine it against your own personal worldview, values, and morals. That way you can really chew the meat and spit out the bones. In my opinion, this is the best way to enjoy good stories, but also try to think well about them so that they can influence your life for good, not just steal some of your time and leave you feeling empty. If you want to learn more about how to choose good books or how to be more thoughtful about the media that you're consuming, go ahead and subscribe. I plan on making a few more videos just about that. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.